My name is Staz. Man, welcome to Freshteadesign 360. However, I just want to say, I always consider like the use of your imagination, the use of your brains, and not saving and using unnecessary, don't unnecessary stuff within your brain, like unnecessary use of your imagination. So I figured like you always try to save brain space for different attributes. That's how one of my thoughts is always be like, okay, do I need to utilize this within my thoughts? Is this necessary for even keep it? Is this necessary for even focusing on? Is this even necessary for follow up? So utilizing the brain space, your brain space in a certain way to where you can receive the information and choose to keep or discard it. Like, so a few of the definitions, a few of the thoughts that came to my mind was unnecessary use of imagination. What did you consider unnecessary use of imagination? Like, what would be your thoughts on that? Unnecessary use of words that you choose to keep and don't necessarily need to have. Always freeing up the brain space. Jordan Peterson says, it's really funny. He says it's an ethical crime for people with great imagination not to utilize it in this time. And those words really stands out to me, just the way he carved it out. It's like he hugged that. It's an ethical crime. He hugged that word, those words, and I was thinking, it would be an ethical crime for me not to express my thoughts and basing on the 4 different seasons and what it attributes to our development within culture, within heritage, within the growth of our family and ourselves and the country. It's an ethical crime. I want you to stand still on those 2 words for a minute. I'm going to bounce over here. Leave the 4 seasons for a second. I'm going to go over here to Charles and Edwin Jones, who it would be an ethical crime for them not to leave an exquisite, a pillar of a foundation as the Don Jones infrastructure and pillar of the tradesman's investment and investing culture. It would be an ethical crime for those and for that ideas and for those ideas to be disposed of. Without those ideas, without 1882 to 1884, cruising on to 1886, May the 28th, somewhere there, it would be an ethical crime for those ideas, for those 2 ideas, for the accomplishment, for the accompanied, those and that idea was not an unnecessary use of an imagination nor an idea. It was basically a pillar that is a part of our world, life, and family. In all corners of the world, there is someone and some business of partake in trading, buying and exchanging of goods and products for every and all family somewhere in the world. Unnecessary use of imagination, an ethical crime. The great man and woman with the great ideas, it would have been, like Jordan said, an ethical crime to not see these ideas manifest into what we call our world, our life, you and I. However, let's think about this for a second. On use of that imagination from those two characters, where would we stand and what would we call a foundation, a structure? And now this even goes so far to the core of who this culture, this nation, it stands for, because it's so embedded in our way of life and the way the world and the country functions and operate. Not only from a theoretical side, but I refer to it as the tradesman sector, the tradesman trading company, because it's of handcrafted, mostly handcrafted companies. That is, I would refer to it as handcrafted company that built and generate great idea and service and products for you and I. So, to the violence and the terrains of the Appalachian Mountains would be an ethical crime for me not able to say and express this. People all corners of the world have somehow find their home here. Not just here, but in the 50s. Let's break it down. Whether it's you're next to the shore, the ocean line, the river, the canal, the lake, as a 50, it's one group. And people from all corners of the 50, which is all corners of the world, is a part of our daily success and is also a part of the diversity culture. It would, and it is, it would, let's say, an ethical crime for these thoughts and this idea not able to reach you and manifest within you and me and the others who supports and condition this stream and condition the output and the result this can achieve in a whole togetherness and as one, because again it would be an ethical crime for us not to share this idea, the overspill of idea, the overspill of this ideas that these two gentlemen came up with and others that contributed. What is the overspill of this idea? Would it be a question the legislative body would have very much more than one answers for, and also representative and our leaders? Possible. For me, here in the different category at this moment and at this time, would consider some of the companies in the Dow Jones, as few would represent the overspill of ideas that supports and pillar of the community, that people from corners of the world come and hang out and find life, find love, and find peace. My name is Taz. This is Freshteadesign 360. However, thank you so much for joining me. And before I go, an unnecessary use of an imagination, an unnecessary use of brain space, and an unnecessary use of the word depression. Now, I feel if you minimize the use of the word depression, I feel you minimize the result, the outcome, and it minimizes that virus or that word that can be contagion, be handled more subtly between the striving and the productive and the people that want to try to achieve and attain their dream, to bypass, minimize the use of that word and see what kind of result and how you could chart the result of this finding. My name is Taz Fireworks. This is Freshteadesign. Thank you again.